Right. So we have the editor screen now. Sure. I want to perform the same operation, but this time by using the insert method. That is what I am expected to do. Just a second. Perfect. So first, let us first create a list. Maybe this is my statement which is going to create the list. Maybe in this list, I have a few elements as of now, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50 like this. Next what, sir? Next what means if I try to print my list first, whether really contents have been inserted to the list or whether really a list has been created or not. To verify the same, if I would execute the program, as you can see on the output screen, perfectly list has been created. Next what, sir? Next what means what if to insert the data inside my list, if I use the method called as append method, can you tell me what is going to happen? Maybe if I tell append of 60, all of you should answer me this question. Already we have discussed the behavior of append method a lot of times. This 60, where is it going to be inserted? It will always be inserted at the end of the list. To the end of the list, 60 is going to be appended. Really, sir? Yes. If you want a proof, look at the output. Now, if I print the contents of the list, as you can see on the output screen, 60 is always going to be appended to the end of the list. Sir, why, sir? Is it because 60 is greater than all the elements in the list? No, no, no. That is not the logic that you should be applying. Append method is going to work in such a way, whatever data that you're going to pass to the append method as an argument, always it is going to insert the data at the end of the list. Any confusion so far? Okay, sir. Perfect. Next what? Next what means, sir, append method is okay, sir, but we had extend method also. Okay, let us understand the behavior of extend method. If I would say l.extend of, maybe I want to add the data 70, but can I simply tell 70 here? No, we know extend method is going to expect the argument in the form of a iterable, or in simple words, it has to be a list. Next, now if I say print of L, tell me again, where is this 70 going to be inserted? Let us execute the program and see. As you can see, 70 also will be inserted to the end of the list like this, as you can see on the output screen. So by default, whatever new elements that you're trying to add to your list are always getting added to the end of the list. But what if your expectation is, look, boss, this is such a scenario where I don't want to add the element at the end of the list. Rather, I would like to add the element somewhere in between at a specified index. I hope you're able to understand the activity, the need for us to discuss a new method in Python, a list-based method. Okay, sir, maybe let us assume I want to insert the data not at the end of the list. Maybe I want to insert the data at the start of the list, at the beginning of the list. Sir, are you telling before this number called as 10, that is where you want to insert your data? Yes. Okay, let me first delete all these lines. Already we have understood the working of append method, extend method, and everything. Okay, sir, please add the data to the front of the list. How can we do it? For that, you will have to make use of a new method. The name of the method is insert method. It's a list-based method. Hence, I will first use the name of the list. What is the name of the list? L. To this list L, I am going to apply a method called as my insert method. Now, it is not going to work similar to append method or extend method. What do you mean to say, sir? Append method and extend method would always expect a single argument. But whereas your insert method is going to expect two arguments. The first argument is going to be the index and the second argument is going to be the element. Yes, without you specifying the index, how will insert method know where should the element be inserted? Oh, correct, sir. Now tell me, where is that I would like to add the data to my list? I'm telling it is at the beginning. That means if I want this new data to be the first element inside the list, can you tell me what should be the index of that element? I want all of you to open your ears and listen to me. Please wake up from your bed. I don't want any one of you to seek the knowledge in a very undisciplined manner. Please do get up from your beds. I hope all of you are doing it. Just in case a few of you are, open your notes, sit properly, and make down the notes, whatever I'm dictating here, or whatever you see on the screen. Of course, when I ask you to do so. Right. Now I want this new element to be inserted at the front of the list, and we know if it has to be inserted at the front of the list, the index has to be 0. That means I will replace this index with 0. Sir, what is the element? Sir, whatever element you want, you can insert it. Maybe I would say the new element that I want to insert is 15, like this. After which, just for the sake of our confirmation whether really the data 15 is inserted at the front of the list, I would also execute my program by using the print statement like this. As you can see on the output screen, this time the data 15 is not inserted at the end of the list. In fact, it has been inserted at the beginning of the list. Do you have this privilege as a Python programmer to insert the data at any given random index on your list? Yes, we do have that facility. Any confusion so far? Okay, sir. Now let us assume I would like to add one more element, maybe like this. This is a bit tricky. All of you should be able to answer this. Maybe I would like to add a new element to my list. Oh, okay, since already list is created, I don't have to create it once again. Let us do the activity in the same program. Maybe I have to insert a new data to my list and at a specified index. That means which method I should be using? Insert method. So I would say L dot insert. What if in case unknowingly I have specified an index which does not exist in my list? Can you tell me, as of now, what is the range of indexes for this particular list? Maybe you can look at the output screen. After also modifying, you can maybe consider the data 15 as well. Absolutely fine. Can you tell me what is the range of indexes for this particular list? You can see in total how many elements do I have? You should look at the last line on the output screen. It has 6 elements. That means the range of the elements is going to the range of the indexes, it is going to range from 0 to 5. Do all of you agree? That means these are my possible indexes. But what if in case I incorrectly specify a random index, something like this, maybe 9? Tell me, do I have an index called as 9 in my list called as L? 100% no such index exists. Sir, but in this case, what if I try to add the data like this with a incorrect index? What is going to happen? Let us verify that. Now, after this, again, if I print my list, whether really the data is going to be inserted or whether we would get an error is what we should verify. And now if I would execute my program, as you can see, first of all, there is no error in the program. That means data is inserted. The next question is, where do we insert the data? Where is the data inserted? If at all, please listen to what I'm saying here. If at all the index that you have specified to your insert method is beyond the range of the indexes, then by default, the element that you're trying to insert will always be inserted at the end of the list and no error would pop up. That is how insert method has actually been coded. Any confusion so far? Okay, sir. Since we are actually discussing insert method here, I would also like to see the output on my screen, not just the elements like this, the way I'm printing here. I want both the indexes as well as the elements, the items that are present inside the list. Tell me, do we have that facility in Python? I have already spoken about such functions. Do we have any such function which can help us get both the indexes as well as the elements from a list? 100% yes, and long back I have discussed it here. The name of the function happens to be our enumerate function. I hope you remember we started discussing the length function, enumerate function, sorted function, zip function. Oh, correct, sir. And this is how we are supposed to access the enumerate function. I want both indexes and elements of all the data present in the list. Since there are many elements present in the list, I would like to use my for loop. In the for loop, I would maybe say, since I'm using enumerate function, it would return me 2 values. So 2 loop index variables. Maybe the first happens to be index, the second happens to be element. In which is the function that I should be calling here, enumerate function. And this enumerate function would expect the list. In this case, it is L. Whatever indexes and element that is returned by enumerate function, I would like to print it. And this is how I would maybe print it. I would say print index comma element. And now if I would execute it, as you can see, Now you will be able to see the possible indexes in your program. Any confusion? Perfect. So 100 was inserted at the as the last element. Naturally, the index has to be 6. Right. Great. Seems like all of you have completed copying this. Please copy maybe a one-line definition for what this insert method is and the general syntax. Let me write it for you on the screen itself. So here, this is what you can copy. Maybe I will just copy this definition and the general syntax. I'll anyways write it for you. After explaining a particular topic for more than 20 minutes, if you're unable to understand what this one method was doing, I don't know what you were doing when I was explaining here, right? Can I proceed? I think anybody by looking at least the general syntax will be able to make out what this insert method is actually going to do, right? Below this, please take down note if the index provided to the insert method, if the index provided to the insert method if the index provided to the insert method is beyond the range of indexes, then it would add the element at the end of the list. Then it would add the element at the end of the list. Add the element at the end of the list. Right, perfect. Can I proceed now? Yeah. Okay, now let me just erase all of this and get back the same program. Now, yes, there are a couple of students who have actually asked the right kind of doubts for this particular program. One of the student is asking, sir, what is the default value for this index here? What if in case using the insert method, I provide only the element and I don't give the index value? In this case, where do you think is the element going to be inserted? Please understand, both the index and the element are required values in this case. So what I mean to say here is, if I would execute the program, as you can see, we have immediately got the error here. I hope you understand the meaning of required. That means these are mandatory values. There are no default values in this case. Any confusion? So perfect. So 100% will have to give the index values like this. One of the student is also asking, sir, in place of the indexes, can we also use negative indexes? Since you have only used positive indexes, let us quickly give it a try. That means I should give the negative index to the front of the element as -5. And now if I would execute the program, as you can see, we have not got the error, and hopefully 15 should be inserted at the front of the element, front of the list. As you can see, 15 happens to be the first element. So two extra things that you have learned because of the students being active in the chat. They're asking relevant doubts for this particular program. Can we is there a default value for index in the insert method? No, there is no default value. Both are required values, mandatory values that you should give if at all you want to use insert method. At the same time, can we also use both positive indexes and negative indexes? Absolutely fine, we can use it. Any confusion with this? Again, I repeat, all these extra points, don't expect me to dictate. Maybe these things you will have to make notes on your own. Right, now please take down the next method. I think this is the fourth method that we should be discussing. Take down the next method, index method. The name of the method here is index method. Name of the method here is index method. I think you can predict what this method is going to do in the case of list. Let us verify this quickly. Maybe first, let me, as usual, create the list. These are the elements present in my list. Maybe it is 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Maybe I would like to add, okay, anyways, if this is the contents of my list, now if I wanted the index of one specified element, I'm writing such a logic wherein in my program, for some reason, I would be expecting the index of one of the elements present in the list. Let us say I want the index of the element 30. I want the index of the element 30, and if that is your expectation, 100% you can use the index method on your list. How do we use it, sir? This is how you'll use it. You should use the list name, and you should tell the name of the method here is index, and to this method you will have to pass the element. Of course, without you passing the element, how can you expect the index method to return the index of the respective element? So we'll have to pass the element as 30. And this method is going to return the index, which I would be interested in directly printing it. And now if I would execute the program, as you can see on the output, correctly we have got the index as 2. Of course, index method has been coded in such a way that it will always return the positive indexes. Any confusion? Right. 10 was present at the index 0, 20 was present at the index 1, 30 was present at the index 2. So perfectly we have got the output. But what if in case in this particular list, I didn't had 130, maybe I had multiple 30s like this. I had duplicate elements. First of all, tell me, is it possible to store duplicate data inside your list? Those of you who are regular to all of my classes, you know it is possible. And you also know the story, what happens in the memory. In the memory, it is only 130, an integer object that will be allocated memory. But then in your list, there will be 2 locations who will be holding the address of the same object. So it is absolutely possible. Oh, correct, sir. I have 2 30s in my list. Now, if I ask for the index, which 30s index this method is going to return to us? Let us verify that. If I would execute, first of all, what do you think? Which 30 it is going to return? Please understand, your index method has been coded in such a way it would always return the index of the element of its first occurrence. It is going to return the index of the first occurrence of the element. That means which is first occurring? Is it first 30 or second 30? First 30, and first 30 is present at which index? 2. That means if I execute, even though the output has to be 2. I hope I'm clear with what I was trying to explain from this. But then, sir, what if my expectation is I don't want the index of the first occurrence of the element. I want the index of the second occurrence of the element. The duplicate 30s index I want. Maybe you're writing such a product where your project manager has assigned the task that you have to identify the duplicates inside the list. For which, tell me, will you be interested in first 30 or second 30? Naturally, it is going to be second 30. Okay, sir. If that is the case, what should I do, sir? See, by default, understand this carefully. It is a bit tricky to understand. But if you focus, everything is going to make sense. By default, this index method has been coded in such a way, it will always start scanning the list from the 0th index. That means it will start looking for the element. It will start searching for the element from the 0th index. And if you start searching from the 0th index, tell me which 30 is going to, which 30 is it going to stop at first? And naturally, it is the first occurrence. Now, if you want this index method to return the index of the second 30, what you do is change the starting position of this index method, where it is going to start its searching activity. What do you mean to say, sir? I want to tell to the index method, look, index method, please don't start searching for 30 from the 0th index. Because if you start from 0th index, you will encounter first 30 at the index 2. That is what you will also return the output as. But then I want you to start the searching activity not from the 0th index, but from the 3rd index. That is what I want you to start. Sir, is it possible to specify that way, sir? 100% yes. Now, if that is what you expect the index method, then you should also specify the starting index like this. You have to do, maybe let us write this in a different line. Let me copy this Let me paste it once again. Now if I would say 30, 3, can you guess the output of the two print statements? What will be the index of 30 in first case? What will be the index of 30 in second case? Yeah. In the first case, you have not specified the starting index. Naturally, it is going to start from 0. If it starts from 0, it is going to stop at first 30. First 30 means it is going to be 2. So next, in the second case, you have told the index method, you please start scanning the list from the third index. And if it starts the searching from the third index, what is it going to return the index of 30? The last 30 it is going to stop at. And you know, the second occurrence of 30 is present at an index value of 5. So the output has to be 2 and 5 if we have understood it correct. If I would execute the program, as you can see on the output screen, correctly we have got the output. Any confusion? So what is the second argument that you will be passing to index method? It is the starting index that you want to specify to the index method to start its searching activity. Am I clear so far? Right. If you have really understood, if all of you are paying utmost attention to what I'm trying to tell you guys here, if you've really understood, assume I'm going to modify my list like this. Tell me what is going to be the output. Of course, in the first case, it is going to be 2. I am most interested in the second case. In the second case, I'm starting from the index 3. I would like to see whether the element at that index is inclusive or exclusive. I hope you're able to understand. Anyways, tell me the output of this program. It is going to be 2. What will be the output of the second print statement? 3, is it? Let us verify this. And if I would execute the program, perfect. So this is a confirmation to all of us that the index that you will be specifying to the index method is actually going to be inclusive to perform the search operation. Any confusions so far? Okay, sir. Next what, sir? Next what means, if at all you have really understood, let me add a few more elements, maybe 60, 70, 80, 90, and then once again 30. I want you to answer me this. I want the index of the third occurrence of 30 first. Please understand here, I have modified. Tell me, in total, how many 30s do I have here? 4 30s. I want you to write the code for getting the element, getting the third occurrence of 30. So what should I tell? Print. I should tell l.index method. Which element am I looking for? 30. But I want the third occurrence. So what should I start? Give the starting index as? See, I hope all of you are able to see that I'm highlighting the element here. This 30 is what I want. This 30. So if I want this 30, naturally you can either give the index of 40 or the index of 50 or the index of this 30 itself to begin its operation from. Anyways, you can give any index after this 30. Whatever index that you will give after the second 30, naturally it is going to give us the index of the third 30. So there are many ways in which you can give the index. Maybe I would give the index as 5 in this case. So start your search operation starting from the index 5. If I would do this 100%, I have got the index of the third occurrence of 30, which is nothing but 6. Right. What if I want the index of the last occurrence of this element, which is in this case it is 30. So tell me, this is the element that I want. So what should I tell? After this particular 30, whatever index you will give, naturally that is going to work fine with this. So that means I should give the index as 6, is it? I would execute the program. Okay. 6, 1 second. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 means again it is going to consider the third occurrence because I've told you the element is going to be inclusive in this case. So that means I should give the index as 7. Right, perfect. If I would execute the program, as you can see, we have got the index of the last 30 as 11. Am I clear so far? Any confusion here onwards? Right. Now, please copy this also. Maybe I would like to check for an element. I see all this time I was looking for an element which was present in my list. It was always present. So let me write the output also. for you guys here so that it'll be easy for you to copy. And I would always recommend my students to copy the output like this, right next to the print statement. If at all you have such kind of outputs, numbers and multiple print statements, I would like to check what if in case I am looking for an element called as 99. Carefully look at my list and answer me this. Do you see an element called as 99 in your list? Do we have an element called as 99? If element itself is not there, then why are you seeking its index? Why are you asking for its index? Immediately, this would be a mistake. In this case, we would get an error in our program. And as you can see, the error, I think it's value error that we are supposed to get. Yes, like I said, the error that we have got here is the value error, which is telling, look, boss, 99 is not present in my list. So let me copy this also and let me paste it here for you to copy, right? All right, please quickly copy this program completely. All of you completed. All right. Do we have any doubts with respect to this particular method? I could see one student is asking. Right. All of you kindly pay attention. 1 second. Where is the question? Okay. Sir, without knowing list how it is present, but I need third element, third occurrence 30 of 30. We don't know the index also. How can we do, sir? See, unfortunately, to the index method, if at all you want the second occurrence or the not the first occurrence and any other occurrence of that particular element, you are forced to give the index. If you don't know the index of the multiple occurrences of the element, is it possible for you to know the indexes in Python? Yes, maybe before this you can first use the enumerate function. I hope you were able to understand. By using the enumerate function, you will get all the indexes. Maybe by looking at that output, you can assign the respective index to the index method. Again, I repeat, if you don't give any index to the index method, it is going to start from the 0th index. If at all you want the second occurrence or the third occurrence apart from the first occurrence, then it is must and should that you will have to specify the index, right? If you're able to understand for this method as well. Sir, what if I want to search the element by its occurrence in the list and not by the list? Because every time I'll have to count the indexes. I just want the occurrence. I think you will have to elaborate your question. Okay, anyways, now let's understand this. I have a tricky question for all of you with respect to this particular method. And look at here, all of you, I'm doing a slight modification to this list. What was the last element inside this list? 30, right? I'll make it as 300. And that 30, the last occurrence of 30, maybe I'll write it somewhere after 70 and before 80 like this. You are able to understand. Only simple difference was previously the last occurrence was 30. This 30 was present at the end. Now it is present here. Now let us assume I don't want the first occurrence, second occurrence, third occurrence. I'm not interested in any occurrence. I am just interested in one occurrence, which is, boss, get me the index of the last 30. So if that is the question asked, if you think it is going to be a child's play, tell me, how will you be able to do it? I want the occurrence of last 30. How should I write my index method? I would say print index is the name of the method. To this index method, again, the element has to be 30 and I have to give the index here. Thank you so much. As guest, all of you are committing the same mistake. You are telling me, sir, if you want the last occurrence of a particular element, don't start it from the 0th index by default. You start it from the end. And tell me, for the end, what is the index? Of course, all of you are suggesting me give the negative index here. So you're telling, sir, give the negative index of the last element. We know for the last element, always the negative index is going to be -1. So all of you think this is the direction in which now scanning is going to happen. This is the direction you think now scanning is going to take place. This is what you're thinking now, sir. Now if you give -1, now index method is going to search for the element in this particular direction. That is why I have told -1, sir. Now it will come. Obviously, if you start from the reverse and if you get the first index, that means in a normal direction, it is the last element. Please understand that would never happen. This direction is never going to happen. In other words, if you tell -1, what is going to happen, sir? You will be shocked to see the output on the screen. If I execute, you can see the output here. It says, did we get an error previously also in the previous program? Yes, whenever there was a value error. Sir, why? Okay, here it's because of this arrow mark. Let me just remove this. Now if I would execute my program, as you can see, if we have got the error now, and here, okay, name index is not defined. Oh, again, this is not an inbuilt function. It is a list-based method. So I should tell l.index. Anyways, and now if I would execute, again, as you can see, what is the kind of error that we have got here? We have got the same error that we got previously when I searched for the elements index as 99. Element 99. It is telling, sorry, boss, 30 is not present in the list. You might say, sir, what is wrong with Python, sir? There are so many 30s present in my list. Please understand that is because you misinterpreted. One second. You misinterpreted that if you give the negative index here, that it is going to all go in the reverse direction like this. It is never going to happen. If you tell -1, that means where is it going to start from? Please understand, it is going to start from the last index. That means it is going to start from 300 and it is not going to come in the reverse direction. It will go in the forward direction, positive direction. Tell me, once it would go from the positive direction, do you have 30 here? No. What do you have? There is nothing. You have actually reached the end of the list. Any confusion so far, sir? But if at all, is it possible for me to access the element where I would give the starting index? In the previous example, I have always given the positive indexes, sir. Is it possible to give the negative indexes? That is possible, 100% yes. See, for example, you tell me, I would like to access the index of the second occurrence of 30. Let us quickly do this. I would like to access the index of second occurrence of 30. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. That means my second occurrence of 30 is present at an index 3. I should start from the index 2, or I can also start from the index. Of course, I'll not be able to start from the index 2. It is after 2. That means I should specify the index as 3. Do all of you agree? And if I would do so, 100%, what you see on the output screen is that we have got 3 in this case. Yes, second occurrence is present at 3. At the same time, is it possible for you to give negative index here in place of positive index to find the second occurrence of the element 30? Yes, it is possible. Then you will have to sit down and calculate the negative index. Anyways, let us do this. The length of this string happens to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 13. 13 means this is going to be minus 13, minus 12, minus 11, minus 10. That means I should give the negative index as minus 10. Can you tell me in this case what is going to happen? That means you're telling this is the minus 10 index for 30. That means you're telling, look boss, now please start your scanning activity from this particular position. And in which direction? It will always do the scanning operation in the positive direction. And the moment it will start, it will find out that, oh, immediately on the same index, I have 30. So immediately that will be written for us. Okay, again, this arrow mark. Any confusion like this? I hope what happens when we give negative index to the index method is crystal clear to all of you guys. Doesn't matter whether it is positive index or negative index. Just remember this one simple hint here. It will always do its search operation in the positive direction. It is a one-way searching operation. Any confusion so far? Perfect. Now, please take down notes with respect to the insert method. Do one thing. First, copy the general syntax. You can tell position, or if you want, you can also tell the index. Right. Maybe below this, you can tell what the element is. Here element means it is the element, the index of the element, to be searched. Right. Next, can you tell me what is index here? Index means here, okay, index, or see, I think you better modify the general syntax. It is better if you tell start index like this, so that tomorrow when you revise, you'll also understand what is the meaning of this. Start index means here it is the position from which the search has to start. With this, what is the element? It is that particular element's index that you are expected, where position from where the search has to start. Right. Below this, you can take down the notes. Okay, 1 second. Why is that it has become a trouble for all of you to just give proper ABC IDs once you start attending the sessions here? Why is that every single day that we here have to keep repeating the same thing? Please give your ABC IDs, else you will be removed. I don't know what the actual problem here is, and is it so much of a difficulty to give a proper ABC ID to you guys? I've been telling the reason here. The reason is very simple. We want to monitor our students. We want to keep a track of your attendance. How many sessions have you been attending? How many sessions have you missed? I really don't understand what the problem is here. Anyways, take down the very first point. First point, index method returns the index value of the element present in the list. Index value of the element present in the list. Full stop. And also one point that you should have noted here in the general syntax is, tell me, all of you look at here, look at the screen. Tell me, is this start index always mandatory? No, if you don't give, what is going to be the start index? It is going to be 0. So maybe here at the end, you can just copy it like this. You can tell this is optional because the default value is 0 in this case. Right. Take down the next point, provided you have copied this optional part. Take down the next point. If the list contains duplicate values, comma, index method by default will always return the index of the first occurrence of the element. First occurrence or instance. You can call it as occurrence also, you can call it as instance also. First occurrence or instance of the element. First occurrence or instance of the element. Full stop. Next point. If the index of the second instance of the element, is expected, then we need to specify the second argument. Second argument of the index method. The second argument of the index method which is the starting index, from where the index position would be searched. Full stop. Take down the next point. If the element is not present in the list, then index method then index method will throw a value error, write it as a single word, V capital E capital. Then the index method will throw a value error, will throw a value error, full stop. Anyways, now please understand this. Right, perfect. With this being the program, I just want all of you to maybe add one more line here, maybe after line number 6 in the program, if it is possible, or you can also copy it in the next line. Anyways, you should have commented this line where we are getting the value error as the output, because without which the interpreter would not proceed ahead and execute the further lines. Maybe one example where you can also see the output using the negative indexes. Maybe here, first, I think this is not the right output here. This, okay, and here, if I have to tell, it is in positive case, it is 7. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. In negative case, it is going to be 60 is the negative index, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So you can also tell -6 in this case, and even then the output has to be 9. So all that, again, guys, nothing to be confused here. Next, please take down the next heading. The next method that we should be exploring, the name of the method happens to be count method. Name of the method is count method. Can I proceed? And what is the method number? I think this is 5th method that we're discussing, list-based methods. Now, what does the count method actually does, sir, in the case of list? Very simple. As the name suggests, it is going to count the number of occurrences of the list, the number of instances of the element present inside the list. That is what it is going to count. What do you mean to say, sir? As you can see in my program, I have multiple elements with the same value, 30. What if I wanted to count how many occurrences of 30 is present in my list? If you want your program to tell you that, all that you have to do is you should tell on this list called as L, please call a method called as a count method. And to this count method, you should give the element whose count has to be computed. In this case, the element happens to be 30. And this, I'll directly print it by placing this within my print function. And now if I execute, as you can see perfectly, it has calculated, it has counted the number of occurrences of the element called as 30. That means it is saying that in total in your list, you have 4 occurrences of the element called as 30. Any confusion? I think this method happens to be self-explanatory. Let us not waste a lot of time. Next, what, sir? Let me copy this line. Let us take care of all the cases. Maybe I want to check for the element. Maybe it is 40. Tell me how many times 40 is present in the list? Only once. So the output has to be 1. Next, I will paste this statement once again. Maybe I want to check for the element 45. Tell me, do we have the element called as 45 in this list? No. That means how many times 45 has appeared? 0 times. That is going to be the output of the count method. It is not going to return any error or anything. So please take down count method. It is self-explanatory. I think 3 cases would be more than sufficient. Count method, and first copy the general syntax. It is list. It expects only one mandatory argument. Alright. Please take down the next method. The name of the method happens to be reverse method. Take down the heading, reverse method, reverse method. Right. What does this reverse method does? Let us check first. All of you kindly stop writing or stop taking down any notes. Just look at the screen. Look at the screen. Let me first create my list, a very simple list. Let me say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different elements I have inside my list. Tell me, Do you know how to reverse all these elements? Have you actually learned this process? Is there any way where you can print this particular list in the reverse order? Have you learned it? One of the ways to do it here is the default ways of accessing the list in the print function. By default, it'll always start from the 0th index and it'll go to the last index, and that is the order in which it is going to print. But is there any way that you can reverse the direction? Yes. Using what? Using the slicing operation. In the slicing, there is a third argument that I had told, which is the step argument. To the step argument, by default, it is always 1. If you give it as -1, 100% the list is going to be accessed in the reverse order. What do you mean to say, sir? This is what I mean to say. First, let me print the actual list. And if I print, as you can see, it is there in the perfect order. If I want to reverse it, sir, already we can do it using list indexing. How? Like this. You should tell this. And list indexing means, again, you have to use square brackets. Within this, you will have to make use of colon operator. If you simply do this 100%, even though it is going to be accessed in the same order. But then we know in this list is slicing operation, you can also pass a third argument by using one more colon. Here it is the start index, here it is the end index or the stop, here it is the step. Sir, if I do like this, sir, even though it is going to be the same output. Next word, sir, let me copy this line for you. Now, if I again try to print the data, okay, I had already copied it. If I again copy paste the same link, here by default, always the step is 1. So really, sir, 100%. See, I'll write the step as 1. You will see the output for all the 3 print statements is same, exactly same. Look at the output screen. Don't even trust my words. By default, that means it was 1. But then let me copy this line. And now in the next line, instead of telling it as 1, if I change it to -1, what is going to happen now? Carefully look at the output. Look at the last line, 100%. Your data is reversed in this case. 100% it is reversed. Sir, really, sir, print the list without using the slicing, sir. I want to see whether the actual list has been reversed. Okay, let me do it for you guys. I'll simply tell here like this. According to you, since you had used slicing operator in the previous statement, that means the list was reversed, right? If I execute the program, look at the last output now. Oh, again, we have got the same original list here. So it doesn't mean that we have multiple options to do the same activity. Please understand. Please understand and understand the difference here. There is a clear difference here. If you perform the reversing operation using the list slicing operator like this, if you do this the way we have done it in line number 6, the list is going to be reversed and you'll see the output only on the output screen. It is used only for accessing it. In other words, the changes are not going to be reflected onto your original string. Your original string is still unreversed. It is as it is, as you can see on the output screen. Oh, correct, sir. But then, sir, I want my original string itself to be reversed, sir. Next time when I access it, the data that I want to access from the list should be in the reversed order. If that is your expectation, that is why Judo has given you one more method. A list-based method. What is the name of the method, sir? The name of the method itself is reverse method. And this method is going to reverse your original string, original list itself. The changes are going to be reflected to your original list. Really, sir? 100% yes. After this, now if I were to print my list, now notice the last output. As you can see, I have got the reversed list. Though I've just told print L. That means it is the original list that has been reversed in this case. Any confusion so far? So you can actually reverse the list even by using the list slicing operator, but those changes will not be reflected onto your original list. Your original list will still remain the same. But then if you use a method called as the reverse method, it is going to reverse your original list. Your original list is modified. Am I clear with the reverse method also? Any confusion so far? Right. Please quickly make a note of all these lines and the output. Maybe it is relevant so that you understand there are different ways to access. So I hope you know when to use the list slicing operation and when to use the reverse method when it comes to reversing the contents of the list. When you don't want the reversed content to be modified on the original list, to be reflected onto your original list, then use the list slicing operation. But when you want the original list itself to be modified and reversed, then please make use of the reverse method. Can I proceed? So while you're copying, you can again keep listening to me. I repeat, when you don't want the changes or modifications to be reflected onto your original list, rather, if you want the changes to be reflected on a new list. Sir, are you telling a new list is going to be created when we use the list slicing operator? Yes, when you try to do it in the reverse order. That means forget about the new list. It is not going to reflect the changes onto your original list. Then make use of the list slicing operation, where temporarily you will get the access to the data in the reversed order. But when you want your original list itself to be reversed, modified, then please make use of the reverse method. Please let me know if I can proceed. Right. If you have understood this, please answer me the output of this particular program. I'm performing the list slicing operation. So I'll use 2 colon operators here, and I'll tell -1. And in the next line, I will tell print the contents of my list called as L. Simple 3 lines of code. You also know what list slicing operation does, what to start, what to stop, what is the step size. Tell me the output of this program. If you use the list slicing operator like this, the original list remains unmodified. It is not going to be reversed. Again, repeat, it is not going to be reversed. But in the same case, see, I'll just replace the line number 2. Instead of writing this line, I will simply tell YL dot reverse like this. Tell me, in this case, now if I print, will I get the output as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? 100%. Now I will get the output as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, because whatever reverse changes that you're going to make now, the modifications are going to be reflected onto your original list. That means the original list now is reversed. And now if I would execute my program, as you can see, we have got the expected output. At least now are the changes clear to all of you guys? Am I clear? List slicing operation will temporarily reverse this list, and it will be stored in a separate list, because you know, even list is an object in Python. A new object will be created on your heap segment to which there is no reference. That means it becomes a garbage object. It's lost in the memory. But then if you do the reverse operation, the changes will be reflected onto the same object. Any confusions so far? Right, perfect. If you have understood so far, okay, great. Thank you for acknowledging. There are many students who are replying to me that, sir, we understood it now, sir. It's cleared now, sir. Okay, great. Great. Now, answer me this, if you've really understood. If I would say, maybe I'll declare the first list as L1, and I'll say to this list L1, I will perform the list slicing operation like this as -1. And now I am telling you from the time that this list slicing operation will not reflect the changes on the original list. In fact, I have been telling to you guys that it is going to create a new list in the memory. I will give a name to that new list called as L2. Now in my print statement, if I tell L2, what is the output? Is it the list containing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 100%. Like I said, this list slicing operation is going to create a new list object. To that new list object, you have given a name called as L2. That means naturally what L2 has is the reversed. And that is what you are also accessing here. And if I execute, as you can see, correctly, you have also guessed the output is going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, there is a catch here. What if I say I want to access the list L1? Now tell me what will be the output. Is it going to be a reversed list, or is it going to be the original list? 100%. All of you are absolutely correct here in this case, because since I'm not using reverse method here, I'm using list slicing. The changes are not reflected on the original string. And if I would execute the program, as you can see, I've got the expected output. Right, quickly, I want all of you to take down as a note and just copy this program. Of course, it is this. It is out of the scope of your course curriculum, but this is important that many of you are lacking clarity as to what happens in the list slicing operation. Right. Let us proceed. Please take down the first. Okay. Have all of you completed copying these 4 lines of code as well as output? See here, output becomes important. So right beside the line number 3 and line number 4, put the comment symbol in Python, which is nothing but ash, and copy the output. L1 is still modified. L2 is the reversed list that we have got. Right. So let me erase this. So please take down the general syntax of reverse method first. Syntax, it is list dot reverse method, and it expects no argument actually. So it is going to reverse the entire list. So list name is also anyways given, because using that name is what you will be invoking this method. After which, all of you copy the general syntax. List dot reverse, that is how you should be calling this. Right below this, take down reverse method is used to reverse the list. Reverse method is used to reverse the list. Reverse method is used to reverse the list. Reverse the list. Reverse the list, and it takes no arguments. And it takes no arguments. And it takes no arguments. Full stop. The changes are reflected. The changes are reflected. The changes are reflected onto the original list. The changes are reflected onto the original list. Onto the original list. Onto the original list. Full stop. Hence, the original list would be reversed. Hence, the original list would be reversed. Original list would be reversed. Right. Please take down the last method for today's discussion. Sort method. S-O-R-T. The name of the method is sort method. Sort method. Right. So the next method of discussion in today's class is going to be this sort method. Now, what happens in the sort method, as the name suggests, basically it is going to sort your list. But tell me, again, this question is for people who are revising on a daily basis, though I have been emphasizing on this aspect multiple times. Again, it is your careers which is at stake. The moment this lockdown is going to be uplifted, and immediately once you come back and resume with attending placements at ABC, it's going to have you'll be having a huge competition, because the way the classes are being conducted for your batch, similarly the classes are being conducted for other batches also. So it's not the case that only with respect to your batch the course would be completed. There could be multiple batches where the course could be completed by the time when you come back and resume attending the placements. So the competition would always be there. Doesn't matter just because you're at ABC, competition would not be there. Competition would any day be there in this market. So again, it is the question only for people who have been revising on a daily basis. Have we already seen one of the ways, one of the approaches where we can sort a list? Have we already seen? Yes. If you remember, when I discussed the inbuilt functions, I have spoken about the len function. I'd spoken about the enumerate function there. And if you remember, I'd also spoken about a function called as the sorted function. So sorted function was already doing this activity for us. Then the next question is, why the bloody hell do we want this function called as sort function again for the same operation? So that is what we should be able to understand from this example. So carefully pay attention here. So first, let me create a list which is in a jumbled manner, which is storing the data. Maybe I have 98, maybe I have -5, maybe I have 65, maybe I have 23, 45, like this. As you can see, the data is present in a jumbled fashion. It is not sorted. Now, in my next line, what I would like to see here is, since I've already told you that there is an inbuilt function in Python whose name happens to be sorted. And using the sorted function, if I try to sort the list like this, and in the next line, if I would print my sorted list, which is nothing but L, what do you think is going to be the output? Do you think will the list be sorted or not? What I am talking, please look at the output, and you should not be surprised. Sir, what is this, sir? Previously, when we used sorted method, the list was sorted, sir. Today it is not working, sir. No, that is not the case. Again, see, this is very similar to our previous example. The way list slicing operation was performing, same thing sorted is doing in this case. Sir, yeah, are you telling in this case it is not sorting the list? The answer is yes, it is sorting the list, but the sorted list is a new object. It is some other object. So the difference here is sorted method is also going to sort the list, but the changes are not actually reflected onto the original list. So really, is it performing sorted? Sir, yes, let me add a print function to this sorted list. You will see when I directly try to print that newly created object. And now if I execute, as you can see, the first output that you see, it is the output of sorted function. 100% you can see the data is sorted in the ascending order. But tell me, is this sorting operation being performed on the original list? Are the changes reflected there? No, because we can see the output of the third line where we're trying to print the contents of the original list. The original list is still unsorted. Any confusion? That means somebody who has paid utmost attention to understand the previous example can easily correlate with this example as well. So why we have sorted, why we have sort, I hope now it is crystal clear to all of you guys. Okay, sir. Next what, sir? Next what means, in the same example, what if I make use of the function called the sort method? And sort method works only in the case of list. So if I say list.sort, and at the same time, I want all of you also notice how these methods are actually being called. See, this function called a sorted function happens to be an inbuilt function. So you can directly call it like this. You can give the iterabist as an argument to this: list, tuple, set, strings. But then sort method belongs only to list class. That is why this is how you should be accessing it. Oh, correct, sir. Tell me, in this case, what is the list object we have? The name of the object is L. So if I tell L.sort, and now if I print my list, what do you think is the output? 100%. Now the original list, tell me in which are the two lines where I'm trying to print the original list? Line number 3 and line number 6. That means the second and the third output is what you should notice. And now if I would execute, as you can see, in the second case, the original list was not sorted, but after you call the sort method, the original list itself is sorted. Any confusion? I hope you're able to understand, and it doesn't needs a lot of explanation from my end. It is self-explanatory in nature. I again repeat, sorted is an inbuilt function in Python which will sort the list and create a new object. And it will not reflect the changes onto your original list. Whereas sort is a list-based method which will sort the list in the ascending order, and the changes are reflected onto the original list. The way you see the program on the output screen, please ensure that you copy the outputs also. The way I've written, especially the comments as well. There is one student who says no, let us wait for him. Right, all of you can take down the syntax of sort method first. Okay, one second, all of you pay attention here. Tell me in which order the data has been sorted. Okay, of course, now I'm not interested in sorted. We discussed long back. Tell me in which order the data has been sorted. If at all your list is containing number type of data, it is always in the ascending order. But sir, what if I'm working on a project where I'm expected to sort the data not in the ascending order but in the reverse order? Is it possible, sir? 100% it is possible. And I think in our discussion on sorted method itself, I had made it clear how do you sort the data in the reverse order. There is an optional argument called as reverse. To this, you will have to pass the value as true. By default, it is going to be false. See, tell me, if reverse is equal to false, that means you're telling, boss, you don't reverse the sorting order, you sort it in ascending order. Now I am telling reverse is equal to true. That means sort it in the descending order. Really, sir, if I execute my program, Please look at the output on the output screen. As you can see, the data has been sorted not in the ascending order but in the descending order. Just take down the general syntax of sort method. List dot expects parameters which are optional. All of you completed copying this version of the code as well. How to sort the contents of the list in the descending order. Right, perfect. Below this, take down sort method. Of course, I hope all of you have copied the general syntax as well. Copy the general syntax. It's present on the screen. Sort method is used to sort the list. 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 Full stop. Take down the next method. What is the method number? Is it 10? Yes, please copy this. The next method happens to be the clear method. It's a simple method. Again, one single example you will be able to understand. Copy the next, take down the next method. Okay, once again, before which I was expecting at least one of you would ask me this doubt. What is the doubt, sir? Let me have the, okay, 1 second. In the previous example, that is the sort method example program that you have taken, I had only numbers in the list. What if in case I had string values like this? Maybe I had Keshav, I had maybe Karthik. Okay, no, let us have some. Okay, that was also fine. Okay, maybe Manohar, maybe then it is Vishal, maybe then it is Sayed. If this is the list that I have, now is it possible for me to call my sort method on such a list which is containing string values is what I want to know. 100% it is possible. Even in this case, sorting would be successful, and but then it is going to sort the data in the alphabetical order. Really, sir, that should be the case according to me. Let us execute and verify the program. As you can see, 1 second. Unfortunately, the data is not sorted in this case. What if I say oh, I think the day. Okay. I think it's actually sorted, but I was confused because of the names. Okay. Got it. Okay. I have. I'm calling the sort method, and now if I execute the program, as you can see, it is sorted. But I was confused just by looking at Keshav's and Manohar's data. But alphabetically, K comes first, then M, and but you can see the places, the position of Sayed and Vishal has been changed in this case. Okay, maybe let me add one more name here. Maybe it's Aradhya. And now if I would execute the program, as you can see, 100% sorting is possible on string values as well. Maybe please copy this example also. It is for your importance. See, again, nobody has asked me to give so many example after example programs after programs. It is only considering your interest factor that I'm doing so many examples. So please first copy this program, then we shall discuss the clear method. Also, while you're copying, I just wanted a quick acknowledgement from all of you guys. Do you have any other class, any other session after 11 o'clock now? Or can I continue the class maybe for another 10 minutes? 11:10, is it fine? Right. Great. Please copy this. No, just as a formality, I've asked you. It doesn't mean that I'm actually going to count on your inputs. So please complete this. It is just hardly going to take us another 5 minutes, so maximum 5 minutes of time. Right. Have all of you completed copying this? Can I proceed? And I hope you also know now how to sort the data in the alphabetical order, but in the reverse way. That means from Z to A. How can you do this? You should again use the reverse argument. If you tell like this, reverse is equal to true. And now if I execute, as you can see, the data is being sorted in the descending order based on the based in the alphabetical fashion. Any confusion so far? Of course, I don't want you to copy because you know how to do it. But one important thing. Okay. Uh, the people who say they have Java class from 11:30, I also understand that you should have your breakfast and I can get ready for the Java class. And there are others who have classes in their college who are actually the final semester students who have taken admission at ABC. Okay, let me assure you one thing. This is the last example. Again, last example as in you don't have to copy anything, but one special piece of information for you guys. Assume, see, is it mandatory that my list should always contain data of same type, similar type? What do you mean to say, sir? This is such a list which is containing all string values. That means it is homogeneous type of list. Is it also possible for me to create heterogeneous list like this? Maybe in between I will also have numbers. Is it possible? 100% it is possible because a list can store both homogeneous and heterogeneous type of data. Any confusion so far? Okay, sir. Now if I call sort method, what is going to happen? Tell me, what will the sort method do in this case? Will it first sort the numbers or will it first sort the strings? Who is going to take the priority now? Forget about priority. You first look at the output now. If I execute, as you can see, immediately we have got the error in our program. And let us read what is the error that it says. Okay, see, 100%. I don't know how many of you are able to actually read what he's trying to tell you here. Do you see this symbol here? It is telling within single quotes. It is a type error. And where have we got the type error? In the sort method. See, I'll first tell you non-technically. Sort method cannot sort the data when it is heterogeneous type of data. Of course, see, it is like this. If I ask you to sort maybe only the oranges based on their size, only the oranges, it is possible for you to do it. What if I ask you to sort oranges with bananas? I know it seems very foolish on my part that I'm asking you to perform sorting this way. What if I ask you to tell sort monkeys and ABC students? Will you be able to sort the data? Similarly here also, how can you expect the sort method perform sorting based where the list is containing string values also, numbers also? So one expectation sort has it, the data that is present inside the list should always be a homogeneous type of data. And correctly, it is also telling, see, for you to sort the data, for example, I asked you to sort oranges based on their size. How are you going to sort? You will check, you maybe first you will take two oranges in your hands, you will compare their size, which is greater than, which is less than. That is how you're going to sort. So internally, sort is going to make use of this less than operator. That is the function, the code written for sort. It is telling, look, programmer, this less than operator, I cannot apply on two different objects. One is of integer, one is of string. How is this possible? That is what it is trying to say. Any confusions with whatever I have spoken so far? Great. Okay, perfect. Now, I don't think so there is any notes that you should be taking for this. If at all you have taken notes, running notes, that sort cannot be applied on heterogeneous type of data, that should be more than sufficient. You can just maybe take down sort method. Sorting cannot be performed on heterogeneous type of data. It is not the problem of sort method. It is the law of the nature. Sorting cannot be applied on heterogeneous type of data. Great. I think it's already